Guys, we're here at BMW Motorcycles Riverside, and look what they have. They have a 2023 BMW S1000RR with the M Package. Big thank you to Jeff, the sales manager here at BMW Riverside. He actually took the bike outside so we can do a full review and look over. And honestly, based off my first impressions, this bike is beautiful. This colorway looks really, really nice. It obviously has the carbon fiber wheels, the titanium slip-on, and it also has some other goodies. Jeff, so the biggest differences between this one and the 2023 that I purchased, is it basically going to be like cosmetic?
Cosmetic, but you're getting some performance enhancements out of the parts in the M Package, particularly because this bike has the carbon fiber wheels. You know, unsprung rotating mass at the wheels is the most impactful weight reduction you can make to a bike. They say every pound you take off at the wheels is equal to 4 pounds off the rest of the bike. That also improves your suspension, braking, handling, stability. The whole bike is working easier, basically, moving around less weight.
Right, yeah, those carbon fiber wheels are really nice. So on the S1000RR this year, you're able to go with the cast wheels, right, which is like on the base model. Yeah. Then you have your forged wheels, and then this is like the tip of the iceberg. These are the carbon wheels. Biggest differences between all three?
The cast wheels, they're still aluminum. The base wheels, they're quite light for what they are. But when you move up to the forged wheels, it's a pretty significant weight reduction. They also come with the 200 series rear tire, as opposed to a 190 on the cast usually. The carbon fiber wheels are the next level on top of that, even lighter, also running a 200 series tire. And I don't know, just to me they're the best looking wheel, but you know, you really aren't going to have as big of a difference from the forged to the carbon as you would from, say, the cast to the forged, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've had multiple bikes, like obviously all the Japan motorcycles, they come with cast wheels, and usually what I do is like I'll throw a set of like forged wheels on there, because carbon fiber wheels are really expensive when you go aftermarket, and it makes a huge difference. I've had both of these bikes. I've had a 2018 and a 2021. My 2018 had the forged wheels, and my 2021 had the carbon wheels, and for me, I wasn't able to notice a huge difference. So I would honestly not go with the higher end carbon fiber wheels, just because you know, I want to save money for other modifications like exhaust and so forth.
It all depends on what the actual weight reduction is. You know, some factory aluminum wheels are already pretty darn light, and you're not gonna notice that big of a difference jump to the carbon fiber. In the case of my bike, I lost 15 pounds at the wheels, which made, I mean, just an enormous change to every dynamic of the bike. But on a double R, all three wheel configurations are really, really good. I personally like at least the forged wheels, because they do accommodate a wider tire, and you're really going to notice the weight difference. Once you start to learn the bike, you get more comfortable exploring its limits, and you would pick up on those little differences, and not just the acceleration, but like I said, suspension, handling, every element of the bike will be improved.
Okay. This year, the 2023 BMW S1000RR, it comes in 3 different colorways. So it comes in the black, the performance red, and then this color is what? What colorway is this?
This is they call it light white racing red, I think lupine blue. It's part of the M Package. It automatically comes with this colorway. You can't get the M Package on the other colors, but you can get most of the options on all 3 different colors.
I really have a hard time with this seat. This is the M seat. This seat, when I rode it, it is super, super stiff. It feels like a straight race seat. It has no padding whatsoever. There's a reason for it, not just because BMW decided to cheap out a material, right?
Yeah, no, it's there's a point to that stiff seat. It gives you more feedback of what the bike's doing on a racetrack. But in most conditions, I think the standard seat is preferable. On the road, there's too many little irregularities, and it really starts to punish you after a while.
And then I do believe that these seats come in like different options. I think you can get it in an option where it's lowered, no?
Yeah, you can either get low, the standard height, or the tall height.
Okay, and this is going to be the standard height, and then the lowered height, is it lowered by like an inch?
Not even quite that much. It's not a huge difference in overall height, but to some folks it's just that much of a difference to make the bike more comfortable for them.
Gotcha. And one of the things that I do want to emphasize, guys, is I do have a buddy. His height is 5'2", so he's 5 foot 2 inches, and he's been riding 1000cc leader bikes for a very long time. He had a 2018 S1000RR, which he probably put like 50,000 miles. Also has a brand new one, which he purchased here from BMW of Riverside, and he has a Ducati V2. Basically, what I'm trying to say is he hasn't lowered any of his motorcycles. He's left all his motorcycles at the same height, because I do know that if you do decide to lower your motorcycle, you kind of start messing around with the geometry of the suspension. Maybe Jeff can kind of tell us a bit more about that, since he does a lot of canyon runs, and you know, he's been on the track more than I have for sure.
Yeah, I've been doing this for decades, and every little change you make to factory suspension height affects the bike in some way. And when we lower these bikes, which we can do to a pretty significant degree, we try to keep it level front to rear, but you are changing the head angle, you're changing the suspension travel, where the suspension sits in the stroke, droop versus compression. You know, it'll change the turn-in, the stability potentially. So those are all the things you need to factor in when you're choosing to lower the bike or not. But as you said, these things are so light and nimble and easy to ride that a lot of folks think they need to lower the bike when they really don't. I usually recommend putting a few miles on the bike and determining whether or not you really need that lowering link or not.
Now, this is going to be the entry-level M package. I know, entry-level, right? It's still, what, $26,000 or something?
Yeah, this one is $26,300. This is nearly loaded. The only thing that it doesn't have is the carbon package.
Yeah, the carbon package. I think everybody loves the OEM carbon. There's a specific brand, I believe in Europe, right, that makes all the carbon fiber parts for like BMW?
That's right. Ilmberger Carbon Parts out of Germany. They make most of the OEM carbon fiber on BMWs. I think for other manufacturers too. I believe Ducati uses them as well. A lot of MotoGP teams. And their carbon parts are like jewelry. It's the most, I mean, even if you look at the weave from one part to the next, when you have the Ilmberger set, you'll notice the weave matches the angle and the size of thread. It's just, it's next level stuff.
Okay, so if I were to go with the carbon fiber package on this, I'll throw up a price list of how much more it would cost. Which parts exactly would I be able to get in that carbon fiber?
The carbon package on these bikes is going to start with the front fender, the inset panels here, and then it's going to move to the back and get you a chain guide, the rear hugger, and I believe that's it. And I think BMW is going to release the tank side panels, but I know that Ilmberger Carbon is going to make that available in the aftermarket.
One of the things that we can't look over are these beautiful rear sets from BMW. The M series has these nice CNC aluminum rear sets with a carbon fiber heel guard. They look so nice. I'm gonna actually start developing some rear sets for this bike. I'm gonna be developing a lot of CNC parts. I'm gonna do the rear sets. I'm gonna do a fender eliminator. We already have the adjustable subcage courtesy of Impact Tech USA. And then I'm also gonna do some mirror block-off plates. These mirror block-off plates, I'm almost done with them. So if anybody's interested in for their BMW, let me know. Put a comment down below. I'm gonna sell them really cheap just to kind of get the parts out there so we can start building a brand for ourselves. But yeah, let me know, super cheap. Overall, I give this bike 10 out of 10. Colorway, gorgeous, features, gorgeous. I love everything about it. My favorite part has to be, hands down, the dash with all the customizable options. You have a ton of different rider modes. You have different suspension options. Hopefully Jeff can stop by the shop one of these days and we'll do a full tutorial on the breakdown of the dash. I know that there's not a really good tutorial video online on YouTube on every single feature, how to access every single feature, or what features apply to you, what features apply to the track, etc. So if we can do a breakdown, I'm sure a lot of people would watch that, because for me, my 2019 and 2021, I did not use any of the features. I put it on race, and that's all I did because I didn't want to mess with it. I was too scared.
Yeah, you're leaving a lot on the table because there's so much configurability to these bikes. Between the Race Pro modes, you don't have to be in a racy mood for it to be a good thing for you, because you can set, you can make it as chill as you want, or as aggressive as you want, and anywhere in between. You can mix and match different factors for pretty much every dynamic on the bike.
So yeah, we'll get a video of that for sure. Look how nice that is. I'm gonna show you guys a shot of the LEDs actually on, because it has like these daytime running lights. And on my 2023, I've already ridden it in the dark. and the projectors are just so bright. I mean, really, really bright. The best lighting I've had on any motorcycle, hands down. And we can't forget about these winglets. Look at these gorgeous winglets. A lot of people, they don't like the winglets based off pictures and videos, but let me tell you here, you need to see it in person because it flows with the bike very nice. I like the new front face that they did for 2023. And I do believe BMW of Riverside is gonna have an M1000RR, right? So hopefully we get to do a video on that.
Oh, yeah.
What's the differences between the M1000RR and the S1000RR M Package?
Quite different. The M1000RR outwardly, it has completely different bodywork. It looks almost a little. It looks like a MotoGP bike. You can tell that they didn't design it for aesthetics. It's pure, brutal function. The shape of the fairing is completely different, especially in the front. The winglets are much larger. They probably come out to about here. Of course, I haven't seen one yet. No one in the States has. But it is going to be definitely next level for any superbike on the market. I think it's going to be top dog, personally. But beyond the bodywork and the externals, it's going to have titanium engine internals, different swing arm, different geometry. And its whole reason for existence is to give the World Superbike team something that they can win the championship on. So I think it's going to bear some fruit next season. We're going to see how they do on the bike, but also the AMA Superbike riders are going to have access to that as well. So BMW really wants to be a force to be reckoned with on the world racing stage, and I think with that bike they're going to pull it off.
All right, Jeff, do you mind actually going on the bike, like sitting on the bike, so we can see how tall of a bike this is? And you're what? Like, what's your height?
I'm right at 6 feet flat.
6 feet flat. Okay, so can you flat foot it a little bit, right?
I could if I really put my feet down, but it's more comfortable to just kind of be on the balls of my feet. The bike is so light that I don't feel the need to flat foot it.
Okay, now as far as the riding position, is it as aggressive as, let's say, an R1? Because those things are so uncomfortable. Is it a little bit comfortable like the Gixxer? How is it?
Compared to an R1, it's much more comfortable. Compared to pretty much any other superbike on the market, it's almost a sport touring bike in comparison. Much shorter reach to the bars. The bars themselves are not as low, and they're at the right angle relative to your knees and your hips. And the fact that the rear sets are so adjustable on these bikes with a billet pack makes it, makes it so you can dial in the ergonomics even further. I would honestly say, not even being a salesman, it's the most comfortable superbike on the market. Something you can actually tour on, commute on, really live with day to day.
So we're gonna end things here. Big thank you to Jeff here at BMW Motorcycles of Riverside. The reason why I went to these guys, and this isn't a paid video, they're not paying me to do anything, but one of the reasons why I bought my motorcycle from here is because when I called Jeff about 3 months ago and put my deposit here, he told me and he guaranteed me there wasn't gonna be any dealer markup. These bikes, they're a really hot commodity right now, and I know a lot of dealerships might be doing ridiculously crazy markups. And Jeff told me that it wasn't just for me. I think they're doing that for everybody, nor do they never mark up any bikes with a dealer markup, right?
That's right. I mean, even if you're putting a deposit in now for one of my future allocation units, I'll never charge markup. As I've said before, I don't charge markup even on ultra limited bikes like the M1000RR. We have folks ordering the M single R. I don't care what it is. It's just the price you see on the website plus tax and DMV if you're local, and if you're out of state, just the appropriate title fees if you're financing. But no markup, no dealer fees ever. We don't double dip on destination and handling or anything like that either. So you just use what you get.
All right, cool. And if anybody wants to buy a motorcycle, how do they get in contact with you? Do they just call BMW Riverside and ask for you, or how does this work?
Yeah, just call the main number. We're at 951-353-0607, and just ask for Jeff in sales, and I'll take care of you.
All right, cool. And then can anybody buy one? Like, I think one of the biggest misconceptions is BMW financing is so hard. I'm not going to get approved. These bikes are so expensive. From your past experiences and being able to sell a lot of motorcycles, I know you guys are notorious for volume. You guys sell the most out of anybody in the States. What does it take for you to get one of these, and what does it take for you to get accepted to the BMW of credit for people that are interested or wondering?
Actually, BMW Financial Services, they're pretty generous with their financing, and the way that they structure the loans, they have what's called the Easy Ride program, which is what 90% of people do. I did that on my recent bike as well. It gets you a much lower payment on a shorter term than what you're used to. So a 4-year Easy Ride loan on a bike like this is going to be maybe $80 a month less than you would normally pay on a 5-year conventional loan. There is a balloon payment due at the end of the term, but it's much less than what the bike's going to be worth. You know, you look at a 4-year-old S1000RR, they're going for 15, 16, 17 grand. With a balloon payment on something like this would only be about 10 grand. So that means that you're going to have equity in the bike before it's due. In the meantime, it's much more affordable to own.
Oh, I completely agree with that. I think this bike retains its value very, very well when you compare it to any other bike, especially the Japanese leader bikes like the R1 or the Gixxer 1000. This bike keeps its value. So you heard it here, Jeff. Thank you very much. We really, really appreciate you. And hopefully we see you on the next video with giving us a breakdown of the dash components and that M1000RR, because I'm really excited to see that.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for coming out. Really appreciate it.